Hi, welcome back to the channel, and I thought it was time I did a little bit of an update on what's going on with my M340i. It's been great. I want to give you some of my thoughts and then what's going to happen in the future. But let's have a little look around the car. It's kind of dirty at the moment, and then some of the things I've learnt along the way, and get in, go for a little drive. Having a little mooch around the car. It's quite dirty at the moment, definitely needs a wash. Got a car seat in the back, a reasonable amount of space with a sort of semi-normal seating position. I would say if I was sitting there, this would probably be right up to there, but not too bad. Yeah, one of the things that sort of I forgot is how much I don't like black cars because they look dirty. They get dirty so quickly, and then also they just don't look very good in photos at all, which I love taking photos, so bit of an error getting a black car, Sam. I won't be doing it again for a while. Random things that took me a while to realise. So you can open the boot with this button here, but you can also shut the boot with that button. Minor detail, it's probably slightly obvious, but didn't realise that at the start. Digging into the settings here, I found that there's a bunch of stuff that you can set that you just wouldn't necessarily come across. So one of them was you can tell the car that when it's below a certain temperature to turn your seat heaters on. So I think I have it set at 10 degrees, 9 degrees, something like that. And I get in the car, it automatically puts my seat heater on. That's the sort of thing that I love, the little random little techie nuggets that are in there. You have to know about them, but just make life a little bit easier or a little bit nicer. I still wish I'd got adaptive cruise control. I think if I still had adaptive cruise control, I might have used this car more. I've not used it that much. I've had the car for 6-7 months now. I've only done 3,000 miles in it, mainly because it's been over Christmas period. Wasn't really driving, then had a baby, so haven't really driven anywhere. Bought another car, which I've done 2,000 miles in, and just been sort of using other cars and not really using this one, which you might sort of work out that possibly I'm going to move this on, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's start it up and go for a little drive, and I'll tell you my thoughts. Wireless entry, I could do without that really. The sort of comfort access thing where you just put your hand in and you just open the doors when you're near the car. It's convenient, but it's a possible security sort of risk-esque, which I just don't necessarily need. This wireless charging bit here, actually, is quite an interesting one because it looks good and you're like, yeah, okay, I can just chuck my phone in there and I can use the wireless CarPlay, which is great, but wireless charging the phone seems to get really hot. I kind of just get in and put it on the cable, and that is quite neat like that, but in reality, I just don't use it. I always plug my phone in. It's weird, I don't know. I like the wireless CarPlay nature, as in you just get in and it's ping, it's straight up. It also then transitions very well when you plug it in because it doesn't change, it's all ready to go already. So wireless CarPlay, good feature, but I don't actually use it in reality that much. This touch display here is great. It's really good. Wireless CarPlay goes across the full width of the screen, which on some it's only a vertical part. That's great. I use CarPlay all the time. The touchscreen element on there is brilliant, but then this car also has buttons for other stuff. So, you know, seat heaters, etc., whatever, blah, 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 blah. Let's go for a little bit of a drive. I'll tell you my thoughts over the time of using this car, long journeys, short journeys, etc., 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 but let's go. So what have the last 2,000 miles been like? I've done a mix of a lot of short journeys, a lot of longer journeys. I've had the family in the car, all the baby stuff, which there is so much stuff, and it's been brilliant. I think the powertrain, the M340i powertrain, is such a brilliant, I've said brilliant twice now, sporty sort of combination of lots of performance, but also really quite good efficiency when you need it. So genuinely, this car will do at 75 miles an hour, it will do 40 mpg on the motorway. 70 miles an hour, it'll do a little bit more. Now, that is really impressive in a car that does 0 to 60 in the threes. So as a combination and a package, I think it's brilliant. I think of the variety of cars in this space, I think the Audi rides the best. I think the BMW, I've not pushed the Mercedes, but I think the BMW handles the best, and it's like pretty good ride quality. Not amazing, but pretty good. But you can actually drive it with some throttle and feel the rear moving around and come out of a junction and give it loads. But one of the things that just seemed to be massively evident was how much power you can put down in all situations. The X-Drive in the wet, I've on the Pirelli tyres, and it's just really good. It's really, really good at getting the power down. So it makes it sort of slightly less fun, but the reality is this is, for most people, is a sort of practical do-it-all car. So you can have some fun. You, most of the time, can just go everywhere pretty quickly. And the rest of the time, this bigger sort of 3 Series shape, the sort of current 3 Series, is a really relaxing place to be. It's a bit bigger than the older ones, but that also means you've got a bit more space. You've got enough space behind the seats for a car seat, and you've got a reasonable amount of space in the boot. It just does most of the stuff pretty great. Things I would change next time round getting one, I would get one in a colour, even silver, better than black, just because I like the car. I like when I'm driving places, taking pictures of my car in the place, but black just doesn't pop in photos in any way, shape or form. It's a nightmare to keep clean. As a photographer, that's a big one for me. I, at the time, couldn't find one with adaptive cruise control that wasn't brand new, and I didn't want to buy a brand new car because I wasn't sure how long I was going to keep it for. And, you know, you're going to take a depreciation hit anyway. But I would definitely get one with adaptive cruise control next time round. Some people don't like it. I think it's brilliant. Just motorways, it's just really useful. London, always a bit hectic. This car's journeys mainly have been on the motorway. What else next time round? I would like to have tried it on the Michelins. Everyone sort of says it's better, but I've not done a back-to-back. I did a podcast recently with Jonathan Benson, who is from Tyre Reviews, and we discussed this whole OEM, Pirelli, Michelin, whatever, all of the stuff, whether they're actually better or not, or just a bit different. In depth, I would definitely check out that podcast if tyres is a thing. Is this person gonna let me out? No. All the buttons here, really useful. I love it. I was looking at replacements. We'll definitely talk about that at some point, probably not in this video, but the Audis have all switched on the bigger cars. I want a bigger car, to 2 screens, and just kind of out of principle, I think we're going to go back to a couple of buttons, and I'm just not going to buy an Audi with 2 screens, at least at the moment anyway, if I can avoid it. Things I don't like, I wish it had a little bit more boot space, but that's kind of par for the course. It's not really a problem thrown at this car. It's not its fault. The key, I don't know why, but I've had it where, I don't think it's a massive problem, but I've had it once or twice where it's been in my pocket and the boot has opened. So you've just pressed the key somehow and the boot has opened. Pretty minor, but slightly annoying. What else really? I think most of the interior specs annoy me a little bit. I don't know why everyone's specs. This sort of cross-hatching is okay. The sort of piano black finish is not what I like at all, and lots of people spec that, especially on the nice cars. All the Alpinas have the piano black, just gets scratched straight away. Interior space, great. It's a little bit kind of plasticky, but not bad, not bad. Seats, super comfy. I have the bolsters really cranked right way up. I'm not a fan of the super fat steering wheel. I know it's got a bunch of tech in it. This has got a heated steering wheel. That's quite nice, isn't it? But he's just a bit chunky. Joe Achilles, he sometimes gets his with a bit of padding taken out. I would like to, I've not felt his steering wheel, so I don't know, sounds a bit weird. But I would like to know what that is actually like as a bit of a difference. What else really? It gets good fuel economy, it's fast, it's quite fun to drive. It's a bit heavy. I think it could be lighter and more nimble and agile, but at the same time, it's quite a big car. So you get the benefits of the big blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. I don't know. It's just a really good, I think it's best in class in this segment at the moment of all the ones I drove. What other things? It's got the BMW app. Quite like the BMW app. You can lock it, unlock it from your phone, which is really useful. The real one, I think, is the ability to see if it's locked. And if it's not locked, you've forgotten to lock it, you can lock it from wherever you are, which I think that's a good feature. I think more cars, I think, will have that feature, but moving onwards, it's good. Stereo, I've got the Harman Kardon. It's decent, a little bit of tweaking, and it sounds really good. I've not tried the level above. What else, really? I don't have a panoramic roof, don't miss it. I had panoramic roof in the Lusso, which is gone. That didn't have a cover, and the car got so hot, so that now if I'm getting a car with a panoramic roof, I want to make sure either it can tint itself, not many cars do that, or has a slide. I think it kind of just adds weight up there. I don't know, in a big car, does it matter? Not really. This car's not hybrid or anything like that. I don't think it really matters. I don't think there's a massive benefit to that. You can get the new one, is a very mild hybrid. I think just pulling away and that sort of stuff, it gives you a little bit of a boost. The screen in front, it's okay. It shows the information, but I never really look at the stuff. Sound, I think it sounds pretty good. It's quite quiet, but when you're on it, I think it sounds decent. You can always crack a window, and that's about it, really. It's been a great car. I kind of thought I may not have it for very long. I wasn't sure whether I would have enough space. The reality is I could get away with this amount of space. We've done journeys with pram bassinet. If you've not got a baby or kid, that's a pretty irrelevant chat, but if you do, that is useful. You can get it in. One thing with our bassinet, so you could change that, as boring baby chat, but this is my life at the moment. If the boot was like that much deeper, I could get loads more things in straight on. All luggage goes in straight on, but bassinet's pretty big. It's not going to be a problem for, I think I've got 2 more months, and then that's just not an issue I'm going to have. But at the moment, we've got so much stuff going anywhere. I want something a bit bigger. So I have bought this week something a little bit bigger. If I had another one, I would have it in a color, like a dark blue, green, I don't know, something a bit more interesting. I would have adaptive cruise control, options wise in the car. Not too bothered about any of them, really. Harman Kardon stereo, nice. Everything else, so this car's got the Tech Pack and the Comfort Plus. I don't think most of those make a difference to me personally. I like the way all of the BMWs have the folding away of the parcel shelf in the boot. I think that's really neat, really nice situation. Other spec stuff, there's not really that much to spec. You can tick a lot of boxes, but for me, the stereo, just the Harman Kardon stereo, the adaptive cruise control, is that it? That feels like it right now. This has got the laser lights that kind of go up and down and auto and whatever. Honestly, I didn't really massively notice it did it until fairly recently. Take it or leave it. It's got a lot of options like that you can have that I don't think necessarily are the big winners, but overall I think it's a very, very good package. And there we go. That is it. I'm going to say goodbye to the M340i. I still think it is the best sporty wagon in the segment. I think as soon as you go up a bit, like RS4, stuff like that, RS4 I think is probably my favourite of the next level up, but you then don't get anywhere near the efficiency and stuff like that, which if you like just getting in the car and driving a really long way, it's nice to be able to do 400 plus miles on a tank. It is time to say goodbye to my M340i. Didn't have it that long. I didn't know whether I was going to keep it that long. I'm in a bit of a change. I kind of want to change things, try lots of stuff out at the moment, but I need something with a bit more space, so bigger car is coming.